I'm going to tell you what Pokemon are coming in Generation 10. I used research and philosophical thinking to predict what Pokemon will be coming back in Pokemon Waves and Pokemon Winds. We understand from leaks that the new region is most likely based on Indonesia. For this first video, I'm going to be focusing on natural fauna that appear in Indonesia. I'll do aquatic Pokemon, culture Pokemon, yokai and kaiju, and flora Pokemon in their own separate videos. But for now, let's get into this video with what Pokemon we can expect to return in Generation 10 of the Pokemon mainline video game series. Indonesia has absolutely amazing biodiversity, so I did my best to eliminate things that weren't relevant. Let's start this talk with orangutans. There's 3 different species of orangutans in the world, and 2 of them are from this region. Why wouldn't we get Pokemon based on orangutans? We have 2 of them already in Oranguru and Darmanitan. So those are our first 2 returning Pokemon. In the area of Indonesia that's represented by the map that they use in the leaks, there's definitely elephants. So we will probably most likely see some sort of elephant in this game, and we do have an elephant Pokemon in Caparaja. Here's a few things I learned about elephants. An elephant's trunk can hold 2 gallons of water, and they're not actually afraid of mice. So Mousehold would be a good teammate for this. Indonesia is also home of the Sumatran rhino, among other rhinos. So Rhydon could be making a return. Did you know if you took all the rhinos on the planet Earth and stacked them on top of each other, that they wouldn't like it very much? Indonesia is also the home of tapirs, and we do have a tapir Pokemon in Drowsy. One thing about tapirs is that they love water. So could we get a regional variant of a water type Hypno or Drowsy? We're gonna fire off these animals. I don't need to keep saying where they can be found because they can be found everywhere. Like there's all sorts of gibbons, there's many different kinds of rhinoceros. There's 2 different kinds of orangutans here in Indonesia, so I don't know, like, fire off the animals. Gibbons. We'll probably be seeing the return of Passimian. That's a weird. So for my fact here, all I have that wrote is that gibbons can sing. Another cool ancient animal that has been part of Pokemon for a long time, pangolins. So we're definitely going to be seeing Sandslash. Speaking of ancient, species of pangolins date back 40 to 50 million years. One of my personal favorites here that's really relevant to this region specifically is Komodo dragons. And we already have a Komodo dragon Pokemon in Como-O. Real life Komodo dragon scales contain bones called osteoderms, making them very hard, just like Como-O. Alright, what's my next one? Alright, like every region, there's bears everywhere. Different kinds of bears. We will be seeing the return of Ursaring, Snorlax, Beware, and probably Pangoro. Another animal in this region is anteaters. So it would be cool to see Heatmor make a strong return. Maybe even a regional variant Heatmor and make it stronger. In real life, anteaters do actually stand on their hind legs when they're threatened. So they look a lot like Heatmor. There are tons of primates and apes and monkeys in this area, so we will probably see other monkeys like Ambipom and all of the pans and simis. Another cool animal in this area that has a lot to eat here because there's tons of snakes is the mongoose. There's a mongoose in this area, there'll be Zangoose or young goose. There's lots of cats in this area, so any cat Pokemon, pick one. But one of the cool ones is there is small spotted cats that are in the wild here, so Liepard will be a good addition. Ferrets, there's lots of ferrets, so as always, we will see ferret. Every region has its rodents, so we'll probably get a new rodent there, but that's for another video. We could really easily see Rattata, Palmot, other Pikachu clones. In fact, there's mice in this region just called Pika. Like every region that has humans, there's goats. Goats have been domesticated and brought into everywhere, and goats are a very hardy group of animals, so they live just about everywhere. So what does that mean? We'll be seeing Go-Go. Research suggests that goats from different areas can develop accents. Like, hey, I'm trying to eat this aluminum can over here. Another common animal in most areas are hares and rabbits, so they're going to bring back Lopunny and Diggersby, like have been in almost every game. Another animal that seems to be hand in hand with humans are pigs. So, Oikalone, Grumpig, anybody? Excited? Anybody use them? Anybody? An animal I forgot in rodents is squirrels, so there's a good chance we see Squirrelvet and Greenhound. The last of the animals on this part of the list are wolves and foxes. There's plenty of wolves and foxes in the area, so we'll see Lycanroc, Thievul, Zoroark, Ninetales. So wolves' pack territory can be up to 1,000 square miles. We're going to need a bigger map. Or anywhere that has solid dirt and vegetation is going to have moles. So we're going to be seeing Drillbur and Excadrill. Those are so hard to say. Excadrill's so hard to say for me. Now moving on to bird Pokemon. Like most areas where people live, we're going to get crows. We're going to see Murkrow and Haunchcrow. And Corviknight? Yeah, and Corviknight. One of the coolest animals in this area and the prettiest are the variety of pheasant and peacocks. So we're probably going to see un pheasant. Fact about pheasants: a group of pheasants is called a bouquet, while their cousins peacocks live in groups called the party. And Quaquaval definitely brings the party. In swampy, marshy areas, you get storks. So we're going to see the return of Bombardier. Did you know that many storks lack a voice box? They only communicate by clapping their bills together. Cassowaries. Cassowaries, ooh, this is a good one. Cassowaries are on flags in this country, and they're closely related to emus. We have Espathra. I'm bringing back Espathra. A really cool animal in this area is cockatoos. So Squawkabilly's going to be making an appearance for his third game in a row. The fun fact I learned about cockatoos while doing research for this video is that they're left-footed, specifically left-footed. And when they I did it again. I did it. I did it. Stop it. Next animal on my list is a cormorant, which until I did the research for this video, I didn't know it was a real bird. And notice the name sounds a lot like cramorant. The only thing they changed about this is the spelling of its name. This is how it actually looks. A very hardy bird that we see anywhere there's rodents are owls. And because we see owls, we're going to see Noctowl in pretty much every game until they put in a new owl Pokemon that's not a first partner. Crazy thing about owls is their eyeballs don't actually move. They're visual tubes, which is the reason their neck spins around 360 degrees, and because they need to be able to move their head to see. Parrots, 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 parrots. Parrots are everywhere, and so is Chatot. But Chatot's such a sad little guy. I think we need another evolution or a regional variant or some help. I know it was a gimmick Pokemon, but we need to make Chatot better. There's lots of different kinds of ducks in Indonesia. There's lots in Indonesia. Okay, I'm doing this. In Indonesia is such a hard statement to say that I think I should just practice saying it for the next 10 minutes. In Indonesia, in Indonesia, in Indonesia, in Indonesia, in Indonesia. So let's not say that anymore. Indonesia has lots of ducks in it. Indonesia has lots of ducks everywhere. So we're going to see Farfetch'd and Ducklet. And that goes hand in hand with the fact that I found out that ducks can have best friends. And I don't mean mating pairs, like two little bros just hanging out for a long time because they really like each other. Woodpeckers. See, now I missed this one. This is my favorite one. With any wooded area that has lots of insects, you're going to get woodpeckers. So we're going to see pick-a-peck. Ooh, did you know that woodpeckers have 4 toes? 2 of them facing forward and 2 of them facing backwards? This is called being zygodactyl. There's a species of woodpeckers called the 3-toed woodpecker. Can you guess how many toes that woodpecker has? Okay, bats are flying mammals. They're not birds, but they're flying types. They fit in this area better than they fit in the land mammals. We'll talk about bats. There's lots of insects, dragonflies, all sorts of stuff here. So we're going to talk about bats because we're probably going to be getting Woobat. I think there's actually an area called Woobat Tunnel or something on the in the leaks maps. Probably getting Zubat and Crobat. It's not a bat, but it's a bat. Noivern. We're going to get Noivern and maybe another regional bat. Okay, I lumped these together because it's kind of simple and they kind of fit along the same line. Eagles and hawks. And the Pokemon we're getting from those are Braviary and Hawlucha. My facts to go along with Braviary and Hawlucha is eagles can actually swim, and a group of hawks is called a kettle. Anywhere you have humans, you're going to have sparrows. Their populations show a correlation. So we're definitely getting Pidgey, probably getting Speary, should be getting Swellow. With wetlands like this, you find swans. And we only have one swan Pokemon, and technically it's already in the game because I said Ducklet, so we're going to get Swanna. But I did want a swan fact, because if adult female swan is called a pen. And if we get Flapple in this game, you know what that means. The last bird Pokemon we have is anywhere that's humid or warm and has death and decay, you're likely to find vultures. So Mandibuzz is going to make a return. My fun fact that I like about vultures is that they don't have a voice box and they just grunt and snarl. Making Mandibuzz dark type makes sense finally. On my list, wow, just ripping pages out. That's crazy. Yeah, okay. but because I didn't write it meticulously, I didn't do it in a way I could see it. So let's talk about insects, and you can't talk about insects without talking about beetles. Beetles. There's tons of beetles. I actually have some things that are beetles that I don't say are beetles, because fireflies are beetles, but they're fireflies. The two most notable beetles in every Pokemon game, Heracross and Pinsir. And the reason why we're going to have so many beetles is, did you know there's about 400,000 species of beetles that we know about? And it's actually estimated to be between 1 and 2 million species of beetles. How do scientists even know that? Because that's like 25% that we know about. Did they talk to the beetles? And the beetles were like, I got 3 cousins you don't even know about, man. All right, centipedes. Let's talk about, okay, this area is really known for centipedes. So we will be getting Scolipede and Centiskorch back. A cool thing to know about centipedes is they actually have odd pairs of legs, meaning without injuries, they can't actually have 100 legs. No, odd pairs of legs. Yeah, they have they have odd pairs of legs. So they would either have 51 pairs or 49 pairs, but they couldn't have 50 pairs of legs. Also, centipedes are another ancient species, about 400 million years old. So could we finally get a fossil type centipede? Ooh, cool Pokemon in this area. Dragonflies. Yanmegas are going to be everywhere. In fact, everywhere so much that in Indonesia, these are fried and eaten as a delicacy. Now, let's talk about ladybugs. There's many species of ladybugs in this area, so I'm not seeing a problem with getting Ledian and Orbeetle. And even though Ledian and Orbeetle are weird, it's still not as weird as the fact that ladybugs have chemoreceptors on their feet that allow them to taste and smell. They taste things with their feet. Next one we need to talk about is the first instance of fireflies, and that's Vikavolt. It's way cooler than the other fireflies on this list. And my first firefly fact is some species of fireflies are known to eat the other species of fireflies. To break up the fireflies, let's talk about wasps. Again, there's a bunch of different species of wasps in this area, so there's a good chance we see Beedrill and Vespiquen, like in most games. What I did find out while doing research for this video is that both bees and ants evolved from wasps, which is why some ants have stingers. Now, back to fireflies. Fireflies are found on most continents, but they do prefer the swampy, humid areas. That's this whole space. With the new firefly fact, you get more fireflies in Illumise and Volbeat. So, a Pokemon we should have more variants of is ants. Because there's tons of, everybody's seen black ants, and there's bullet ants, and red ants, and fire ants, and all sorts of crazy ants, and some pale termite style ants. There's tons of ants. But the only ant Pokemon we have is Durant. Along with Durant, we get our ant fact. Studies show that a Dracula ant can snap its jaws at 200 miles per hour. Their jaws aren't that wide. Like anywhere there's other insects and stuff to eat, there's spiders. And a lot of different kinds of spiders. So we're going to see Galvantula, Spidops, Araquanid, and Ariados. They're all going to be here. And you're not getting a fun fact for that? Because staring at spiders up close is gross, and I'm not giving you a fun fact for that. Now, with any humid area that has lots of vegetation, you get to see grasshoppers. The grasshopper we got introduced in the last generation is Lokix. Weird thing I inferred about researching grasshoppers tend to blend into their surroundings, but they have colorful wings. And with their main predator being birds, you would think evolution would make it so they don't call attention to themselves as they're flying through the air. Indonesia also has scorpions, so we will see Gliscor and Drapion. I did not know how hardy scorpions were. They can survive an entire year without eating. With the planet Earth and continents comes moths. And we definitely have a lot of moth Pokemon. Mothim, Frostmoth, Venomoth, Dustox, and Volcarona. Although Frostmoth doesn't make much sense here, in the map leaks, there's definitely snowy areas. In real life, tiger moths can emit a clicking that throws off bats' echolocation when they're trying to hunt them. Cool thing you need to know. Butterflies. So every area has tons of butterflies. Let's talk about Pokemon butterflies. Beautifly, Pavilion, and Butterfree. Most butterflies only live a few weeks. But if that makes you sad, it's okay. Because butterflies mostly have liquid diets. And some can be sustained on your tears. That's so weird. Why do we know that? All right, next up is crickets. The only cricket Pokemon we have is Cricketune. You're getting him again. Whoop. Crickets possess 2 pairs of wings. Some of them can't even fly. Next up is praying mantises, a very hardy bug that have evolved to do many different things, but that's a good sign for us because we're getting Scyther back because it's in every generation. Yay, Scissor. Okay, but let's get our fun fact about praying mantis. Praying mantis is the only insect that can turn its head around 180 degrees. And last on my list is snails. And with snails, we're going to get Magcargo somewhere. Some made up desert that's in this area that they added into the map that I'll show on screen. My fun fact for snails is they're not bugs, they're mollusks. That is all the land animal, bird, and insect inspired Pokemon. Again, I'll be making a separate video for aquatic Pokemon, culture Pokemon, flora Pokemon, yokais, and kaiju. And now, if you're excited to see those, go ahead and subscribe. I'm also going to have a video about what new Pokemon we can get based on what's prevalent in this area and what we don't already have. Let me know if you have any ideas and if I should make one that includes legendary Pokemon.